Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to our third episode of Grub and Groove. And this is my dear, dear, dear friend, Michelle. And she is a wonderful, wonderful cook. And so I have her joining me today.
Thank you.
On Grub and Groove. And so today our focus is going to be cabbage. And so Michelle actually asked me when we started this what I was going to be cooking. And I said, red and green. And I said, well, what do you like? And you said,
I like both.
okay. So I like to have a lot of color in my cabbage. So we're going to actually do red, green, and
Collards.
yes.
Yes.
Which, have you done that before?
Not with the red and green. So this will be new for me.
So we're going to make red and green cabbage and collards. So don't be afraid of color, because color is good, because colors bring you all of the nutrients that come with the various colors of that particular vegetable.
Okay.
So I have been so blessed because Michelle has always gifted me with a little bit of
Pickles.
her nickname was Pickles, and she makes these amazing, amazing pickles, which are in vinegar, which it is a seasoning that I typically use with my cabbage. What about you?
Absolutely. I use this vinegar, especially when I'm cooking red cabbage.
Yes.
Yes.
So we have that in common. So what we're going to do is we're going to make that with a little bit of cabbage today. And of course, what we've done is we've cut up, and if you're interested in how to cut onions, check out episode 1. But we've cut up some onions because onions tend to add, for me, I like using the Vidalia sweet onions. So they add a little sweetness to it. A lot of people will add carrots. I don't typically do that. I actually may add apples from time to time to add a little sweetness. But no apples today. We're just going to go with onions and a little bit of collard, red, and green cabbage, and
Pickles.
the sweetness from the pickles. Yes. So let's go ahead and so what we're going to start is we're going to actually get started with a little bit of our base, which is going to be a little bit of butter and a little bit of olive oil. If you want to, I have used bacon in the past.
Okay.
Try to get the uncured bacon. Try to get it without the nitrites, and the nitrates, it's actually, you can get it without some of those extra additives. So that's what we're going to do. But we will get started with a little bit of butter. And this is what I've called before the better butter with a little bit of olive oil, just to balance out the types of fats that you do.
So Tanya, I'm going to do the honors.
Yes, please do. Throw those onions in there. Let's get a little. You always want to have a little sizzle when you're making your cabbage. So we're going to go ahead and saute the onions in, again, the better butter. It is the butter and olive oil.
It smells so good.
And it does. It smells fantastic. If you were here, you'd smell the wonderful smells that are coming out. But I will tell you. So I'm doing a little sparkling shamrock, and she's doing a little
Ciroc. Pineapple.
Cheers! So nothing's better than cooking with friends with a little specialness.
So how long do we
So we're gonna cook the onions until they soften. So a couple of minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, until you see them start to soften, and they should start to caramelize slightly from the butter and the olive oil. So we will do that until it softens, and then we'll go ahead and start to add our other ingredients. And what you've seen before is that I will typically make the sauce that will make my vegetables taste good. And so what we're going to use are pickles in order to make that sauce. One of my favorite seasonings, and we've talked about this before, for cabbage in particular, is vinegar. So we're going to use actually the vinegar of the pickles. And then I typically add a little bit of black pepper. So that's going to be another seasoning. I like a peppery cabbage. So again, figure out what taste you like, and then you can add that. I actually know some people who've added basil or other herbs to their cabbage in order to make it sweet. As we've talked about, some people add carrots. I add apples sometimes in order to sweeten it up. So it depends on whether or not you want something sweet or peppery or spicy, which we will be adding a little bit of sriracha. You guys know I have my favorite sriracha, which is actually getting a little competition from my Tabasco sriracha, which I will show you in a moment. So we're almost there with the onions. So we're going to add in a moment a little bit of our seasoning to actually create the roux that will then allow us to make some fantastic cabbage. So we're going to go ahead and add our special ingredients. So we're going to start with, now that the onions are done, a little bit of
Pickles. They're good. Tanya, before I add pickles, because they're made with fresh seasoning, and seasoning always rises in liquid, so you want to shake it up.
Excuse me. Pickles knows how to serve her pickles.
Okay.
So she's going to add a little bit of pickles.
How much do you want me to add?
As many you think would make a good sort of taste.
Okay.
And then we're going to add, so we're actually going to go with the Tabasco brand of sriracha, which is my new favorite sriracha. I cannot get enough of it.
Okay. And how much of your Tabasco sriracha?
To taste.
To taste.
So tell me what you're thinking. We're going to, how hot are you going to go? And then last is going to be a little bit of pepper. And pepper, just so you know, pepper also can help bring out some of the nutrients in vegetables. So it's always a good little addition to have, in my opinion, both as you're cooking and then a little bit after. And I know my dad will be excited to hear about that because he's a big pepper fiend.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. So we'll get that going. And then what do? We always give our seasoning a little bit of taste before we add our vegetables so that we can make sure that it's where we want it. So we can add additional hot sauce, pickles, vinegar, or pepper as needed to taste.
Okay. You want to
How does it? No, you taste it.
Okay, this is going to be amazing.
Because it's made with pickles. How can it not be amazing?
Absolutely.
Do you need anything more of anything?
Maybe some sriracha.
Okay. Let's go with the sriracha.
And can I say something about the sriracha and why I chose sriracha?
Sure.
So, generally, this is salty. Oh, I'm sorry. Generally, sriracha is salty. So, you don't want to add salt to your meal, more sodium. So, the more sriracha will give you the flavor that you need or that you're looking for.
Yes, and I totally agree. As a health coach, I think one of the things you want to do is figure out other things that can give you kind of that salty, briny taste. And vinegar is definitely one of them. Sriracha and hot sauce is another. But then you can use other seasonings to get the flavor that you want without necessarily adding salt. So thank you, Michelle, for that wonderful tip.
That is amazing. This is
Are you
amazing.
there? Are you ready?
Yes, I'm
Okay, we're ready.
That's
So,
amazing.
if we're ready, what we're going to do is we're actually going to add, we've already chopped everything. You can see how beautiful it looks. So we've got chopped collards, green cabbage, and red cabbage, and we're about to add it to the pot. Now, as you know, I always have to have a little bit of a dance to go with every vegetable that we eat. So,
No.
the Cabbage Patch.
Let's do this.
So, wait. Are you ready?
I'm
So
ready.
grab the cabbage.
Okay.
Give it a little shake. 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 Shake, and then add it to the pot. Pot. So you may have to add your cabbage a bit at a time to cook it down add more, and that's okay. We use collards particularly because collards are about the same thickness and coarseness as cabbage. So they typically take the same amount of time to cook down. If you use, for instance, a mustard green or maybe a more sort of a softer kale, you may want to add those after you add your cabbage. So again, play with it, see what happens, but you do want to keep that little crunch just to make sure you get the full sort of nutrition, nourishment that you can get out of that. All right, so I think our cabbage is about done.
I think so.
So we were just talking about some of the things that you can do to cabbage, and I'm a big peppery fan.
And I'm a big pungent cheese fan.
So we don't have any goat cheese or any
Blue
feta cheese or blue
feta
cheese. But that is something that you can add. Obviously, try to get organic so that you can get the grass-fed cow milk that goes into the cheese. But yeah, anything that makes you like it, and especially we talked about earlier, sodium, anything that makes you like it that doesn't add sodium, that can add that flavor that you like, it works. So use that. Yeah. So I think we're ready. So let's go ahead and plate a little some. Okay. I'm excited.
I'm excited as well. Smells so good.
All right. So let's give a little. It's nice and steamy.
Can you smell that?
And colorful. You'll see from the red and the green and the collards. So let's dig in. Right? So delicious.
This is really delicious.
So you can serve this with anything. That flavor, I have to say, pickles added a little something extra. So whatever you want to serve it with, whether it's over rice or you want to have it with a meat or whatever you want, this is going to be the perfect accompaniment to anything. So enjoy your cabbage and see you later.
See you later.